March 25, 2023. 140 nautical miles off Congo in the Gulf of Guinea. The Monjasa Reformer, a Liberian-flagged oil tanker, is boarded by armed pirates. 6 crew members are kidnapped. No distress calls. No gunfire heard at sea. Just darkness and silence. 5 weeks later, the hostages are released. The cargo is gone. The gangs vanish into the waves. This is a real story. Subscribe now to MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com and stay until the end, because the sea holds secrets that never fade. March 2023. Gulf of Guinea, off the coast of Congo and Nigeria. March 24, 2023. The sun set over the Gulf of Guinea, painting the ocean orange and gold. On board the Monjasa Reformer, a 135-meter oil tanker, everything was calm. Captain Javed sat in the bridge. He stared out across still water. 5 crew members played cards below deck. Laughter echoed. The ship carried oil. Millions in fuel. But no one was worried. They had sailed these waters before. The world was different now, they believed. Better radar. Stronger rules. Patrol ships nearby. But under the calm, something was watching. Midnight. A small blip appeared on the radar. It was faint. Unsteady. Then it vanished. Probably a fishing boat, said the chief officer. But by 1:27 a.m., another signal flickered. Closer. Faster. No ID. No flag. The crew locked the doors. The captain turned off all lights. They prayed it wasn't what they feared. Then came the sound, a motor roar. Close. Too close. And then, metal scraping metal. Rope slamming. Boots hitting steel. Shouting in a foreign language. They were on board. 6 men. Wearing black masks. Holding AK-47s. They moved quickly. They knew the layout. They had done this before. Where is the captain? One shouted. Nobody moved. One of the pirates fired into the air. They kicked down the door. Dragged the captain out. Tied the crew with zip ties. Beat 2 men. 1 crew member tried to run. He was kicked in the head. The pirates moved to the engine room. The ship's tracker was disabled. The lights went out. By 2:10 a.m., the Monjasa Reformer had vanished from the map. No GPS. No radar. No distress signal was sent. And no one knew where they were. It was like the ship disappeared into the night. In Lagos, a Nigerian Navy officer checked the system. Nothing. No signs of the vessel. It's like she sailed off the face of the earth. The pirates weren't just thieves. They had a plan. They forced the captain to sail west, 140 miles from land. Far from Nigerian or Congolese patrol zones. They dropped anchor behind a small, uninhabited island. Then, they opened the cargo valves. A second ship appeared. No flag. No ID. No name. They began pumping the oil, thousands of barrels. By dawn, the Monjasa Reformer was empty. The pirates split the loot. Then, they picked 6 crew members at random, including the captain. You're coming with us. They were taken off the ship in a speedboat. Blindfolded. Hands tied. 1 crew member was crying. For the next 5 days, the world would not know they were missing. Their families were unaware. Their company had no signal. Their names didn't make the news. It was like they never existed. And that was the scariest part. This is a real story. Every fact you hear is public. You can check it yourself. If real-life mysteries leave you breathless, subscribe now to MysteryPlaybacksSeries.com. because the truth that truly haunts might be floating in silence. March 25th to April 2nd, 2023. Gulf of Guinea, Nigerian coast. The small boat finally reached land. It wasn't a port. It wasn't a fishing village. It was the swampy edge of southern Nigeria. Dense. Silent. Mosquitoes buzzing. The smell of oil in the wind. The 6 kidnapped crew were marched through thick brush. Blindfold stayed on. One man slipped. Another cried out. A pirate raised his gun and told them to stay quiet or be shot. Hours passed before they reached a clearing. It was a camp. One small shack. A fire pit. 2 more armed guards waited there, smoking. The hostages were thrown onto the dirt floor. And then the waiting began. Back in Europe, the shipping company finally realized something was wrong. The Monjasa Reformer had missed check-ins. They had tried contacting the captain. Nothing. They alerted the International Maritime Bureau. Interpol was contacted. But in Nigeria, a phone rang. The ship's owners picked up. "We have your men. Pay us, or forget them." No voice ID. No name. Just a number, and a demand, $500,000. Cash. No police. The caller hung up. In the jungle, the crew were suffering. The captain had been beaten with a rifle. One of the engineers had a head wound. They were given a little water. A little rice. They slept on the ground. Covered in insect bites. Rain leaked through the roof. For days, they heard no news. No answers. Just guards talking in low voices. One night, a man began coughing blood. Fever. Delirium. The pirates offered no help. He died the next morning, just 6 days after being taken. They buried him in a shallow grave nearby. No name. No marker. Just dirt. April 1st, 2023. The company responded to the pirates. They wouldn't pay $500,000, but they would pay $260,000. The pirates were furious. They demanded proof the company cared about the men. A video was sent. It showed the 5 remaining hostages. Tired. Bruised. Dirty. One was forced to say, "If you love us, you'll pay." The pirates gave them 72 hours. If no money came, more would die. The Gulf of Guinea is now the most dangerous maritime zone in the world. In 2022 alone, over 120 sailors were kidnapped. Ships disappear. Cargo vanishes. Men are never seen again. The pirates aren't just criminals, they're part of something bigger. Some work with local warlords. Others sell fuel to black market refineries. Everyone makes money. And no one talks. Even the police. The company agreed to pay. The money would be dropped in a waterproof bag at a location chosen by the pirates. No questions. No trace. A boat took the cash to the spot. 5 minutes later, it was gone. No one saw who picked it up. But that night, 5 men were released, barefoot and starving. They had no idea where they were. They walked for miles. Until they found a military checkpoint. April 3rd, 2023. Reuters confirms. 5 hostages from the Monjasa Reformer have been freed. But there was no ceremony. No trial. No arrests. The 6th man, the one who died in the jungle, was not named publicly. The pirates? Gone. The stolen oil? Never recovered. The shipping company? Moved on. But for the men released, the sea would never feel safe again. This is not fiction. Every detail is part of a real case that you can verify yourself. The Gulf of Guinea is still considered a high-risk maritime zone. April 2023, present. Nigeria's Niger Delta and West African coast. Piracy in West Africa isn't what most people imagine. It's not ragged men on wooden boats. It's bigger, richer, and more connected than ever. In Nigeria's Niger Delta, oil is blood. And those who control it, rule. Militant groups, ex-soldiers, corrupt officials, and local oil thieves have all formed an invisible alliance. Together, they run a black market empire worth billions. They call it the Pipeline Mafia. Here's how it works. Oil tankers are hijacked at sea, like the Monjasa Reformer. Crude is siphoned to unregistered ghost ships. It's transported to hidden coastal refineries. It's cleaned, repackaged, and resold globally, under fake documentation. These ships often disappear and reappear under new names, new owners. Interpol and the International Maritime Bureau have confirmed. Most oil theft in the Gulf of Guinea is supported by organized crime syndicates with local and international ties. The Niger Delta, rich in oil but poor in peace. Entire villages sit near pipelines. Leaks poison the soil. Children grow up breathing black smoke. And many locals, with no jobs, are pulled into oil gangs. Some siphon oil. Others guard shipments. A few become pirates. One former gang member, interviewed by the BBC anonymously, said, "We only hijack for survival. The government steals from us every day. We just take our share. But it's not just survival. It's now business. Big business." After the Monjasa Reformer case, questions were asked. Who hijacked the ship? Where did the oil go? Who ordered the hit? But there were no names. No suspects. No charges. And here's why. Pirates are protected. Officials are paid. Local authorities turn a blind eye. The gangs are invisible. If you say their name, you disappear. Shipping companies now avoid West Africa. In 2023, the number of armed security hires for Gulf of Guinea ships rose by 38%. Crew members request hazard pay. Families beg sailors not to go. But oil still moves. Money still flows. And piracy, though quieter, has only gotten smarter. One anonymous security expert said, "They don't need to fire shots anymore. Just one radio signal, and the ship surrenders." Everything in this story is true. You can verify it through BBC News, Reuters, the International Maritime Bureau, and Lloyd's List Intelligence. The Monjasa Reformer hijacking, the hostage case, the ransom drop, all documented. April 2023, present. Europe, Nigeria, Gulf of Guinea. 5 crewmen returned home. But they were not the same. One man had lost £15 in 12 days. Another suffered night terrors. The captain refused to speak for weeks. They were given counseling, but not justice. They were paid, but not protected. No one could answer the question burning inside them. Who did this to us? Why are they still free? The 6th crew member, the one who died in the jungle, was quietly forgotten. No obituary. No public statement. Not even a name released by the company. Only silence. Just one anonymous comment on a sailor's forum. He was a good man. He deserved better. The family? No word. They were told, it's under investigation. But nothing more. Piracy victims often never speak publicly. Here's why. Non-disclosure agreements. Fear of retaliation. Stigma. Shipping companies want to avoid panic. Governments want to avoid blame. So stories fade. And men who once lived through horror are told to move on. But they don't. One of the survivors, under a false name, told a European journalist, "I still hear the jungle at night. Every year, an estimated $1.5 billion in oil is stolen in Nigeria. But the human cost? Uncounted. Some hostages are never found. Some ransoms are never paid. Some pirates go on to become politicians, business owners, even police. And the waters? Still dangerous. A black screen. Text fades in. The Gulf of Guinea remains one of the world's most dangerous waters. In 2023, over 100 crew members were taken hostage. Few names were released. Few pirates were caught. 5 thin men standing on a dock. Barefoot. Wrapped in blankets. Eyes hollow. One is missing. What would you do if your father, brother, or son was taken, and no one came looking? Have you heard this story before? What do you think truly happened in those days no one talks about? If real stories like this move you, disturb you, or open your eyes, subscribe now to MysteryPlaybacksSeries. Because every week, we expose the crimes that others try to hide. Watch the next video on your screen, or dive into our playlist of real mysteries and true crimes. The next story might be even closer to home.